baby, everybody, and welcome back to Words with Wayman. This is your host, Matt Wayman, as always. We got some very special guests. Support us online. Words with Wayman on Facebook. Words with Wayman on Twitter. Fourth City Designs, our sponsor. We're going to get back into it because we got a very special part two with Spencer James, full-time headlining national comedian, and also Dylan Aames coming in.
Hello.
Dylan Aames.
Dylan Aames has the #1 podcast on your thing.
I'm glad that you said that because I was just about to say
very
it.
impressive.
Baba Booey.
Very impressive.
So,
See how that works much better? Just works much better.
Right? So, I feel like we were talking just a little bit even before we started recording, but we were talking about kind of just like the business side of this whole thing and how different people look at it differently. So I guess the first question I want to pose right out the gate is how do you write, Spencer?
How do I write?
Yeah. Like, do you sit down at one point every day and you're like, I'm going to crank it out?
It just depends. Right now, there's several goals. Mm-hmm. Right now, I want a new half hour, so I have five stories, and they're very minuscule. What I'm writing right now is, it's always, like I told you earlier, it's just working backwards. Mm-hmm. Where do I want to be, and how do I create that? Yeah. So I start at the end, and then I'm like, all right, this is what I want. These are the 5 pieces that I want. These are the 5 subjects, and then what do I do to fill in these spaces as I grow on stage?
Is that different from how you write, Dylan?
The backwards part, I'll often start with a punchline and work my way backwards since I do one-liners.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I would look at where it is I'm going and work backwards to see that everything I'm doing is directly connecting up with the big picture.
Because you guys both have management, right? I know Dylan does. Do you have LA management as well?
No.
So you kind of just have to book everything yourself.
Yeah, I book everything. I have more like a mentor.
Yeah.
I try to keep my life where bullshit does not encounter. Like I don't.
Yeah, like you live really cheap all the time, so you can be on tour.
He's great for that purpose to be like, and he's a great person to talk to. Mm-hmm. So, and if I'm ever in trouble, he's there for me. Nice. So that's Ty Barnett told me a long time ago. Ty got second on Last Comic Standing behind Josh Blue, who's a Denver comic. Ty told me a long time ago because he kept switching managers, and I was like, dude, why do you keep switching? Is it they're not getting you gigs? Is it they're not getting you work? Like, what is it? And he goes, man, Spence, if you ever find someone, just find someone who cares about you as a person. Mm-hmm. And I think I lucked out with that.
Yeah.
With this, first off.
Just as a mentor as opposed to an actual agent?
Like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had a dude that was ride or die with him. It was an older guy who tried to get him in acting. That dude was with him all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was in his last special, but he's not. I don't think that's the guy that's like introducing him to, Judd Apatow and all these other people.
How do you feel about what he said about that? I mean, do you think it's a crucial thing to have the agent, or do you think it's more like a mentor helps too?
Depends on what you want. I agree that you've got to find somebody who cares about you. I lucked out about that, and so I definitely would agree with that. But it depends on what you are trying to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the booking shows. When I do shows, my manager books them.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got it going good.
Because you tour, Spencer, you tour and you're on the road a lot of the time. And Dylan, you're more here in Denver, kind of just like writing and smoking cigars and just living the goddamn dream,
Well, for me, I think Dylan's just more business savvy than
I
most.
think you're very business savvy too, just from me looking at it.
For me, I know that I know what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy getting up on that stage, grabbing the mic, and what can I create from there. Whether it be that's the essence of stand-up. I don't care if you sing, I don't care if you beatbox, I don't care what it is. If you're able to get up there with just a microphone, you're doing it. And I love that interaction. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Yeah. And how do I make money at it is even harder. So I was like, how do you do it? And I never wanted to be the dude that got the 15 minutes or whatever it was. And even you're not guaranteed that, but you know what I'm saying? Like if you just go to LA and all of a sudden, oh, you got this role, and then no one's booking you as an actor anymore. What do? You have $200,000 and that's it for the rest of your life.
I think you being full-time off comedy for 9 years is definitely a thing to say that you
7.
At least 7. I mean, that's a long time to be doing it, and that's kind of the goal from a lot of people when they start is to be full-time comedy and have nothing else to have to worry about.
The thing about Spencer that's awesome too is that he 2 years in went out on the road, and as serious as you can get about comedy.
Have you been on the road? Were you?
Yeah, I do out of town gigs. I like to fly in and fly out, so I don't like doing like tough road gigs. I'll go to New Orleans. I'll fly into New York. I'm about to go back to L.A. and do some shows.
Do that prissy stuff. He'll do that. He'll do that elegant, nice crowds.
You'll
prissy
do like
stuff.
Pensacola, Florida, and like Mobile,
Pensacola is
Alabama.
nice compared to the places that I go to.
Mobile, Alabama, I used to do all the time, and it's just like
It's a range. It's
Yeah.
You can't handle someone heckling you at the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas without having that same person heckle you in Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that differentiates me from the guy above me or the guy below me is how many reps it takes for you to. It's golf. It's all
So you're
swings.
more stage time based then at that point?
Oh,
like
yeah.
How many times you get up and do
Oh,
it?
yeah. Yeah.
So what about these open micers that are getting up 6-7 times a week but not writing a new joke at all in the entire week or not working a new joke every set or anything like that?
Man, it's hard getting out of the. Well, you need to be writing. I mean, that just goes without saying. You have to be creating. No one will book you. No one will pay you any money on what I do unless you have a half hour.
Yeah.
And your half hour is not a half hour. It's 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes. So you need to have 9 different stories. You have to have 9 different fives, and they're going to get cut when you get on the road. No one's going to listen. You're going to get heckled. I've had a autistic kid doing circles around my Jesse Carter, and I had to go up after that. That was outside with the rain coming down. I mean, that's the kind of comedy that people are going to pay you if you really want to make a living at it and when you first starting out. No one gives a shit about, I'm one of the funniest people in this city. I don't give a fuck. I live in Minneapolis.
You won the World Series of Comedy, which I'm sure was a big thing. So the competition.
That was after the 5 years, though. That was 5 years on the road, and then I wanted to try and not introduce myself to people and try to build as much time as possible so that when I did show up, I could immediately start headlining, if not one-nighters, at least clubs. Because you're only going to get the things you get offered within the first 6 months, if they even answer your email, are, yeah, you can do this. It's $100 in North Carolina. Well, it's how you going to get there?
So it's a small bump based off the fact that you won that competition, basically.
That's after the 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to spend 5 years on the road and then get to there. And the World Series was just an introduction into other people that book. There was no film or industry or anything there. It was just like, how do I compare amongst everybody else in the United States? And that's what I did it for. And I did it for 3 years. The third year is the year that I won it. So it was like, the first year nobody remembered me, thank God. And then the second year it was like, okay, I got fifth. And then the third year I won it. So I was like, all right, so this is how I compare amongst all the comics. The bookers all know me now. So I'm in this, but that's again after 5 years. I knew that when I made it to the finals in the last 3, when it got to half hours or 20 minutes, I was like, I'm smashing this.
Game time. Because that's weird, the competition thing. Do you do a lot of competitions, Dylan?
No.
And I'm on the same way now that I've gotten in, mainly because I didn't do that good in them. But
I don't think competitions mean much except for other people that give you a credit. It very easily could have been somebody else that got that night. It could have been me getting drawn. I could have drawn first and eaten the bullet and no one's sitting down yet. Like, it took 3 years for me to try to win that one. But the goal was never to win it.
Yeah.
The goal is never to win at a contest. You want to go where the bookers are, the people that pay you. So many people don't win and get work. Like, they get paid work because they were a professional, they did their job, they gave a set, they were funny. Competitions in comedy, we all have seen enough competitions to know this is complete
Last Comic
bullshit.
Standing, often the second place winner goes on to do bigger things than the first.
Ralphie May is crushing, and that fan beat him. So it's like, any competition that's comedy-wise, you take from it what you think you can get. What do you want from this experience? Just like all those festivals, cool. Next year I want to do, all right, let me have a product now this year, and let me introduce myself to people next year to see if they buy it. And if they don't, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing.
But yeah, I mean, it goes back to, what are you trying to do? So, like, I don't do contests for a reason. I don't see the roadmap of where they're leading me. So, for example, you would do contests maybe to get your screenplay shown so that you can get, like, representation. So I already have that. So it just depends on what.
Yeah, or that $500 that doesn't mean.
Yeah,
shit.
I mean, like when comics. I mean, people should do what they want, but you know, when I hear about comics who are doing festivals, Spencer and I talked about this the other day. Sometimes I wonder what the purpose of it is.
I go to hang out with people that I know that lived in those cities. Is why I go to comedy festivals.
If that's what you want, Adam Caton Holland said it was in an article, and I don't know those guys very well. I respect how hard they work,
absolutely,
but I don't know them.
They're called the Grawlix. They got a show called Those Who Can't. For just the people on there, the podcast that don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, True TV.
But I saw something that he wrote, and it was, or something that they interviewed him. He wanted to make a show with his friends, and that's what he did. Yeah. Fucking yeah.
That's
all right,
awesome.
Go ahead. I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
I don't have friends like that I can just team up with and go do a show. Maybe in the future.
I feel like you
but
would
right
go-
now,
yeah.
my dream, I have 5 of them. This was the first one accomplished May 22nd. The other 4?
What to do this podcast?
Yeah, that one
Nice.
was...
I just wanted to force that upon it.
No, that's 6. 6 dreams now. So I got 2 off the list. But I mean, it literally is how Dylan just said it.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy is the most isolating thing that you will do. You do it for the right reasons, or don't fucking do it at all. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get on stage, you want to entertain people, cool. But don't get off stage and try to approach somebody else that, don't fix a toilet and then talk to a plumber. I never did that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
I feel
just
like stand-ups
write, keep your head down, write, perform. People will find you. Everything starts with writing. Chris Tucker didn't have more than 10 minutes. Got on stage. Next time a nigga rob me, just be practicing. God. That's all I had. And fucking
I saw some of his
that.
early Def comedies, and they're just so amazing.
But he didn't have much, but he was really good, and he was a great character, and they put his ass in movies, and now here he is. Tried to revisit stand-up and just ate a dick on the Netflix, but he doesn't have to care.
Who is the stand-up that you think that you model yourself after? Because I feel like a lot of people do. Or is it just so much out of your voice now that you don't really go to try to chase anything?
I always try to wait until I meet those people as people.
Mm-hmm. So you can find out if they're assholes, and you're like...
Yeah, because I met a couple... Jimmy Dore is one of my favorites when I was coming up. Nobody really knows who that is, but I saw his Comedy Central Presents, and his facial expressions and things that he would do. And then I met him in person. Nice guy, but just... He had... I forgot what it was, where he losing bone marrow. And it was a very sad time in his life, and I was like, damn. And it's something against him. It's just he was very bitter.
He wasn't what you thought he was going to be.
He wasn't who I thought he would be. So why idolize people if you don't even know them as a person? I never understood that. I never understood. You can respect them, but I respect. It doesn't matter what profession they're in. If I see someone working hard, I respect that.
I feel like that's a cool part about comedy, for that thing that we get to meet a lot of our heroes a lot of times. Like we get the chance to feature for and open for a lot of really big name guys, and where others you rarely get a chance, like when you're a band, to open up for whoever your most idealistic band is. I feel like comedy is a lot more simple. Like we get the chance to open more for people.
Well, I think so, and I think I'm a little late to the party. I was 23 when I first got on stage. I didn't grow up.
Like Pauly Shore at the goddamn...
Yeah, but I didn't grow up... the Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore calls clubs by himself. Calls clubs himself and asks if he can get booked.
He's got the little clicker that he clicks all the tickets and stuff, too.
Dude, and it's like... So for me, it's what do you want? Make a realistic goal. Every time someone says they want to do stand-up, I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? Well, what do you mean? How much money do you need to make a month? Well, I never thought of it like that. What? What do you mean? Like, if you want to be a full-time comedian, you have to pay your bills. This is all you're doing. You have to make a certain dollar amount every day. So how do you want to do that? Do you want to be clean and do corporates? That's the faster route.
Yeah.
You want to keep your art and hit the road? All right. Well,
I know different than what Dylan does. I mean, more passive income. I mean, I know that Dylan has like a business that he runs that facilitates the way to do comedy. So I think that you are on the different model, but you're still both on the same page.
There's a lot of guys that their money is already taken care of, and it's not a pusher for them maybe, but it's a pusher for other people. Yeah. I mean, what's the question you hear about movies every weekend?
Was it good?
What's the #1 box office movie for the weekend? They care about money. I'm not saying it's greed or greedy, but it's like these people are trying to be, that's a dollar amount. That's a number that you can hit. People want butts in seats. Yeah, you got to draw that. No one gives a fuck if, I got a really clever joke. All right, cool. Let's see if you can get people in here.
Yeah.
And tell your clever joke. But if you're an asshole, if you're late, there's a lot of guys that I'm like, dude, I don't need you to do 15 minutes. I can do the 15 minutes. I don't need you there. I need you to be professional. This is why people take their friends on the road. Because they're like, I like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
I don't need you to smash. I don't need you to crush.
Yeah, we don't want you to be funny because you want them to be better.
The guys I hang out with already crushed. Landry's one of my best friends, and he's Boston Comedy Festival, won that. He won the World Series. He just got second at the Comedy 10K. And,
nice.
But he's on cruise ships. He don't give a shit.
Cool. That's pretty cool. We're getting down to the end of it. These things go pretty quick. I have one question. This will go for both of you guys. I know if you've answered this question before. I don't know if your answer's changed since the first time, but 5 years from now, best case scenario, what does your life look like?
5 years. So that's next year. Basketball and writing, 18. Sitcom, third year. Midway through a sitcom. Midway through 5 years of a sitcom.
So 3 seasons into a sitcom?
2 seasons in, or 1 season in. 1 or 2 seasons in. That would be ideal. and I'll be 37, 38. Yeah, something like that. If that pops off, then great. If that doesn't happen, I want to be just making six figures, performing, and building an audience of people who like the way I perceive things.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Dylan?
Still doing what I'm doing, but just on bigger scales. Do it behind camera, front of camera, sitcom stuff. We're writing a pilot right now that's going to be filmed this fall.
Awesome.
Screenplays, non-scripted reality. We kind of want to be like the white Tyler Perry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
Have you gotten that domain name locked down? The White Tyler Perry?
Ooh.
Yeah.
But I just bought it, so sorry.
Okay, there you go. You got your computer up. No. Where do you want to be in 5 years?
5 years from now, I want to be featuring all around the Midwest, and I want to have my first full-length feature film shot and going over with rave reviews. Everybody.
How big is this? Is it a 120-page script? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, it'd be full feature-length film.
Have you already written it?
I mean, no, not the first one. I mean, I've written a full screenplay before, but I haven't written the one that I've wanted to write, which is one that I think is unreal.
How much is that going to be to make?
To make? Oh, I mean, even the first short film I shot was under $200, so I just plan on building up. That's 15 minutes, and I plan on doing another 20-minute one for like $250, and just build up to where it's under, I would like to shoot it for under $100,000. I don't think it's impossible at all. And that's with buying the cameras from the start.
Is it just to have for yourself so that you can see, or are you going to pitch it somewhere?
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I don't want to do it to like a big thing. If I could produce the stuff and shoot it myself, I think that's always the goal, because then you actually have a product to sell to somebody. Like Robert Rodriguez is a big influence of mine, who produced a full feature-length film for $7,000, and he was his own sound guy. He shot everything himself, mixed it, edited it. Stuff like that is what I'm kind of looking at. Give something for like somebody that me and Dylan have talked about the Duplass brothers before. It's like, don't wait for the cavalry to come for you, make them come for you, and that's my end goal.
Yeah,
so,
man.
So I shoot everything.
Keep doing that. Build whatever that product is. Know what the end goal is. Mm-hmm. Know what you're going to pitch to people when they ask you.
Yeah. So when somebody's like, when you get the agent, everybody thinks then you just start making all the money. But when you get the agent, they're like, what do you have to sell now? And I want a big crate full of 7 boxes to come in.
Yeah,
jumping on the floor.
That's exactly what it is.
That's smart, because that is step one.
Mm-hmm.
Step one is you get the agent and the manager, because now the question becomes, okay, what do you have? How are you going to make us money?
Yeah.
So why would you
end this? But yeah.
No, you're fine. I mean, you went into the manager and you said, I'm going to make you all of this money. You went into your agent, and that's why they picked you up. Because you told them, you're like, I'm going to make you a fuck ton of money. This is what I'm going to do for you, because you had the plan.
Right.
And they're like, we like that.
Well, and that's all they care about. Why is an audience going to watch your shit?
Yeah.
I think with him, the thing that was great was there's a couple guys I know that got those meetings or got introduced to those people. And they're like, what do you have? And they're like, well, come and do funny and do jokes. And And it's like, motherfucker, we got like 20,000 of you.
Stand-up's a piece of the puzzle.
We got so many of you. We understand live comedy. We understand. You're really good at that. But what else do you have? Mm-hmm. Mitch Hedberg has a joke about this. Like, it's like, what else do you have? It's like, well, you want to rewrite scripts? It's like, oh, I'm not a script writer. I'm not. It's like I learned my entire life. You know the joke, whatever the fucking the joke is. But to have, he realized, oh, I'm not where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And it worked his ass off to get to the point where he's like, all right, cool. And now they're like, oh, shit, this dude's for real. Like, his manager's like, this guy churns stuff out. I want to be at a point where I already have that, because I don't have supplemental income. So I want to have that at the end of my 6 months, where if I meet anybody that's in LA, an agent, a casting director, be like, hey, what do you have? Be like, here's a truckload of shit. Mm-hmm. Here's the product.
It's and I don't want out front. Like, there's like a truck that pulls up and just dumps all those pages off the back.
Here's all this stuff, and have them be like, oh shit. Be like, okay, I'm leaving. Where are you going? I'm going to go next door. I'm going to go to the next door.
Anz already sold 5 scripts to Judd Apatow one time. And it's like, so that's the goal, but you have to have 5 scripts to sell 5 scripts.
Well, it's like, don't lose your mind either. If that's the one thing, you're just relying on somebody else to make your money. Like, that's the thing I like about stand-up, is that if all else fails, this was based in stand-up. Mm-hmm. This was based in this. All I need is a mic. Yeah. Just give me a mic and a PA, and I'll make my rent. I'll make my living. I know how to sell myself. I know how to write jokes. I know how to that everything will come back to this, and it always does.
It does.
If Dylan pops off tomorrow, well, he's got his money, but other people that don't make as much money, so the Screeches down in Loonies, he doesn't have just supplemental income coming in. Like, he had to learn to be stand-up. Chris Reed from Kid and Play had to learn to do stand-up. Like, these guys had to learn it on the back end.
I think it's one of the hardest things to learn, too, for a lot of times. But I also think it's at the same time something you have to do or you don't.
Dude, you're building your retirement. Mm-hmm. If you keep doing stand-up, you're building your retirement. If you get something where you get your 10 or 15 minutes, Great. Now you can just travel the country and people know you.
That'd be so
and then you
cool.
show up and they're like, oh, he's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
And like, oh, we'll come back and see him. You're building your retirement. You're not building anything else.
You have to have different shit when you come back. I guess, one more time at the end of this, just a little tiny bit of advice. What would you tell people that just want to, but you said don't start doing stand-up. What about people that have already started doing stand-up? What advice would you give for them?
Just know where you're going.
Cool.
Know where you're going. Know what year. Know what month. Have the dates. And stick to them.
Cool.
Don't. If you in this just to hang out with your friends and get drunk, then go out there and do that. Go out there and get drunk. But me and him hang out and talk because that's not how we discuss. That's not how we talk. Hey, where's your goals? Where are you at? I'm always asking him, what's the next thing? What do you got? What's the dates? And he's doesn't ask me as much because he's a prick. But everybody else.
Prick with the #1 rated Words with Wayne.
Guys, download this. Share it. Share it with your grandmothers. I don't care. Share it with somebody.
For you,
I gotta be
Dylan,
Dylan.
real quick, what would your advice
Yeah, it would be the same thing. It would just be know what you want and be serious and put everything into it and, be willing to make enormous sacrifices to get what you want.
I think that's so cool.
Know that for each person whether it's Denver or whoever it is, know that if you're someone here and you're one of the best ones in here, around the country, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We do not care. Bookers don't care. I've had a lot of bookers tell me that when they get reached out to, don't reach out until you can do the time. Don't reach out until you have a half hour. And definitely if you reach out to a booker, I'm on time. I'm professional. I really want to do this.
Yeah.
I'll go anywhere that you ask.
Don't wear shorts.
I won't fuck the wait staff.
Yeah.
I won't bang the waitress. I won't cause problems. I'll tip the wait staff. You won't worry about me getting there. I'll be there on time. And that's it. There's so many guys that can't do that.
Just be a good person. You got to be like Chris Porter and doing blow in the green room. But we're getting down to it. Right before we get out of here, do you want to just plug your stuff right before we shut her down?
At Comedian Spencer. I got a vlog every week on YouTube. That just started 3 or 4 weeks ago. It follows me in Vegas with Carrot Top and Brad Garrett's and I'll follow that every Wednesday.
Subscribe
in September or Instagram at Comedian Spencer. There's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Cool. And you, Dylan, sweet boy?
At Dylan Aames.
Spell it.
DYLANAAMES.
Just in case you didn't know.
Awesome, and thank you guys for coming out. I feel like you guys are very similar, and you're very goal oriented, and you're it's super fun to talk to you guys because you guys look into the future.
You too, man.
So,
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you all for coming
Thanks for
out.
having me, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
support us on the interwebs at Words with Wayman, Facebook and Twitter. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you all soon.